Hey, this is Kristin. Good vibes always. Um, I had a great time smoking up with Mike at Drove TV. Check it out.
Welcome back to My First Time, the show where our guests get to tell their story of the first time they got high on marijuana. I'm your host, Mike Freeman, and today I'd like to welcome our guest. Good vibes always, Kristin. How are you, Kristin?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me, Mike.
Yes, thanks for giving us some time today on Dro TV. You can find Kristin on Instagram at Good Vibes Always Kristin. That's good vibes always Kristin with underscores. We'll have the links down below to make it easy for you. And because we know how to produce a TV show, if you look under Kristin's name, it'll be right there as well. So will save me from having to say underscores and everything else properly because I already screwed it up. So nonetheless, Kristin, thank you for coming on the show today. Let everybody know where you're located and a little bit about what you got going on.
Well, I am usually in the Tampa area, but I just moved up to Citrus County to move in with some family for now. But definitely in the Tampa area is where I usually go to events at. So all my Canna family's there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I definitely want to talk about more of some of the events you've been to, your experience as a Florida medical marijuana patient. But the show is My First Time, Kristin. So we want to know about your first time experience getting high.
My first time. Well, I am actually late to the game. I didn't start using cannabis until about 2 years ago.
Okay.
I was going through a separation and I had a lot of anxiety and depression and a lot of mental health issues that I was not dealing with very well. And I had a friend that recommended cannabis to me. And I was pretty adverse to it because I grew up in Indiana, which is a very no cannabis state. Well, until recently, I think they have medical maybe now. But I watched my brother, who's younger than me, get in trouble a lot for it. Like with the law, he started when he was a teenager, so he would get arrested for having a joint or something. So I just had a bad stigma towards marijuana in general. And I always swore that I hated the smell just because I had bad memories associated with it. So when my friend suggested it, my first gut reaction was, no, I don't want to even go down that road because it just wasn't for me. But then I really started to research the plant. I actually got books on CBD and medical marijuana and the history of it. And I educated myself on it before I decided to, you know what, I actually do want to try this. So my first time was overkill.
Okay.
Let's just say for all the research that I did not prepare myself for the start slow. I had never even I was the good girl growing up, so I'd never even smoked cigarettes. So I knew that I didn't want to smoke it the first time. So I didn't want flour. And he presented me with a vape and he presented me with I said that I would probably rather eat it, like in brownies or something. And he was a medical patient. He tried to pick up some edibles, but they were out at the local dispensary. So he proceeded to make his own homemade, which he had never done before.
Okay.
And possibly made them a little stronger than what he intended.
Okay.
And we had also gone away for the weekend, like a staycation.
Okay.
So the only food we had at the time when we were experimenting with these brownies was the edible brownies. He was in charge of food for the weekend, and he neglected to bring snacks. So we started in on the brownies, and of course, they don't kick in right away. So it's my first time, so I don't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I don't think it's working, but I'm starving. And at the same time, like, it maybe is working a little bit. So, like, we start to pick the brownies, and next thing I know, like, we're completely, like, it's kicked in. We're really far gone. We're stoned as fuck, and half the tray of brownies is gone.
Nice.
Yeah. And also, at some point right before it kicked in, I may have smoked the vape.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was quite wonderful though. It was a really good time. Yeah.
Any idea of the dosage or like the quantity? What did he
No
make it with
idea.
flour? Did he make it with flour?
He made it with flour.
Okay.
I think he also put tincture in it,
Okay.
and I have no idea how much.
Okay. So, like you said, you're 2 years in the game, basically.
2 years, I learned a lot more about my dosage. I've learned that I have a lower tolerance when it comes to edibles, so I don't need a high dosage when it comes to edibles. I can smoke more flower. I have a higher tolerance when it comes to flower, and I love flower. Um, Vaping, I'm not a huge fan of because to me, I don't know, like, I can vape it and then it doesn't hit the same as smoking a joint. So
Sure.
it's just not the same. It tastes good, but it I think it's not an instant for me. And then all of a sudden it's like, that was too much.
Right.
So it's a little trickier finding the dosage on the vape.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the dabs are the only thing that really I have to take baby breaths with the dabs. Otherwise it triggers my asthma.
Okay. Well,
I'm
it
like, everything hurts. I'm dying.
sounds like you figured most of it out.
Yeah, I think so. And I've since learned how to make my own edibles. So
Great.
yeah.
And it's not super strong brownies. What do you
No, 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 no. No, I do lower dose.
Okay. Still
Yeah.
brownies?
I do brownies, cookies. I can make savory things, stuff like that. So
Okay. Cool.
yeah. I make can of sugar,
Okay.
fun stuff.
I mean, it all sounds delicious, right? And it is,
I
right?
mean, yeah, everything's delicious.
When did
Let's put it in my
you
coffee.
when did you start to reach out or branch out, I should say, to some of these events? I know you said you just started going to events and
Honestly, when I was looking for a community, um, I had that one person that had suggested it. And then the people that I had surrounded myself with before, you know, nobody that I knew also had this passion for it. And once I had started to find that it was working for me, I became very passionate about it because I had researched it. And I was like, this never should have been categorized as a drug, let alone the way that it was, the
sure.
propaganda and everything. So I just I became very passionate about it and I wanted to find people that were like-minded. And I began following podcasts and um, hearing about events and then attending events and meeting people and becoming friends with and developed this whole like Canna community, Canna family. So yeah,
And it's pretty awesome, isn't it?
it is. My Canna family is pretty awesome.
What's your favorite aspect of the Canna fam? Is it just the people, the events, the experiences, the knowledge?
All of it.
All of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the people are the greatest.
Now, were you at the Florida Cannabis Festival in Mount Dora?
I was both days.
Both days.
I went
Wow.
last year too.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the biggest ones here. Is that the biggest one you've been to?
It is the biggest one I've been to. I think it is the biggest one here. I've not been to any in Miami, so I don't know if they have anything bigger down there.
Okay.
But yeah.
Awesome.
And then Canna Feast was just a couple weeks ago, and that one was pretty epic too. So for some reason, I just had a lot of fun at that one.
Great. Yeah, it was almost in your backyard.
No, actually, that one's in Port Charlotte, so that was pretty far away too.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey everybody, I want to quickly mention Food Forest Abundance. Food Forest Abundance is a great way to create your own self-sustaining food forest and naturally occurring ecosystem that's commonly found in nature, but designed specifically for you. Through multiple layers of trees, shrubs, herbs, vines, rhizomes, mushrooms, and perennial vegetables, you can become your own supply chain without the typical maintenance required of a garden. From small spaces to large areas, both urban and suburban, Food Forest Abundance wants us to get back to our roots in nature by engaging with our food production in a meaningful way. For more information, click on the link in the description below and start your journey today. Okay, let's get back to today's episode.
So what has cannabis done for you in your life? I know you've talked about how it's helped you get through some things.
It's just opened my eyes to so many things. I've met so many people. It helps me with my anxiety so much. It helps me with a lot of the things that I'm dealing with. And I've been able to help family as well with certain aspects. So I've been able to learn and create like tinctures and some pain salves for my mom. So
great.
Yeah.
So your first time was a overproduced batch of brownies, let's say.
Yes. Overproduced.
How soon
Overconsumed.
after that? Overconsumed and overproduced, sure. How soon after that did you say to yourself, I should look into getting a medical card?
It was just a few months after that. I was like, you know what, I really need to get my medical card for this, because this is something that I need on the regular. This is something that I should see about getting. So like I wanted to especially do it legit and just have that security for it too.
Now, going to some of these festivals, especially I can't speak for Canna Feast, we weren't there, but the Mount Dora Cannabis Festival, I mean, this place had hundreds of different types of vendors. So
I actually renewed there.
I'm sorry?
I renewed my card there.
Oh, awesome.
Cannafest.
Oh, excellent. So when you go to an event like this, where there's hundreds of different types of vendors, are you interested in getting into the community from like a business or entrepreneurial standpoint, or are you trying
Absolutely.
to? Okay. Anything interest you in general, specifically?
I mean, making things for sure. I'm very crafty, so I've always wanted to make things, anything canna related.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What do you have in mind? Trays?
Jewelry.
Jewelry. Okay.
Jewelry, trays, anything. Baked goods.
Okay. Awesome.
Everything.
I know it's only been 2 years, but has there been a place when I was 15 or 16, I went to the Amazon rainforest. I was in the jungles of the rainforest, and my guide tells me to go over to this. We were in a butterfly hut. He tells me to go over and take out this container of Cool Whip. I open up the Cool, it's packed with weed, and I end up smoking a couple bowls with him and another guide. I think I was either 15 or 16. So to me, that's like the most memorable place that I've ever smoked or gotten high. Is there a time you can think of, a place that was the best for you so far?
I can't really beat that.
Yeah, but for you, for your own personal experience, you weren't in the rainforest, so you can't, but maybe you were top of a mountain, maybe you're in the middle of a lake.
Honestly, there's
Family or
always the
friends?
beach.
The beach?
Always with my friends.
Okay.
I love it with my friends, and especially when we're all together. Pool parties, when we have pool parties, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, being you were like a first-time user, let's call it, then you became a patient. I've been in the game 20 years. There wasn't patients back when I started.
Right.
So I guess from somebody that's, I don't want to call you a newbie, I just can't think of the word right now, but
You can.
what do you see and deal with in the Florida medical marijuana program that you want to see improvements on, and what do you think could be done better?
I mean, I think that we should be able to grow for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also there's so many restrictions, especially with how they're like toggling the prescriptions basically on it. So they just need to free it up.
Right.
And they need to, if they're going to make it medical, they should be able to treat it like medical. I mean, health insurance should cover maybe.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of people that can't afford all the crazy prices.
Do you have a green thumb? Are you interested in growing?
I do not have a green thumb.
Okay.
I would much rather pay somebody else that has a green thumb.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are some things that are just not so great for me.
Right.
I can kill a succulent.
Well, we do live in the Sunshine State, and that's one of the main factors in growing. So I think if they ever allow home grow, it would let loose a wave of home growers. Which, what's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it might be a little hike, especially in the first, once they do eventually make it legal to home grow. But like, I mean, people can cook at home, but they still have restaurants for a reason.
Sure. Exactly.
Doesn't mean everybody should cook at home.
Right. Right.
Doesn't mean everybody's good at it or wants to.
Right.
So.
And we're talking about a plant that grows naturally. It's the reason it's called a weed.
Exactly.
And the fact that we're arguing over not just the fact that we can or can't, but then quantities and restrictions on prescriptions and all that stuff. I mean, it's just silly where we are in 2022, and the progression is really slow. And we need to just keep doing things like this to further the conversation and get people to understand the way the system is. And it's almost like the system needs to change.
Absolutely.
Or we just try something different, because getting the right people in there, or I don't think that's clearly it hasn't worked. It's,
We could be talking about that system or other systems.
Right. Yeah. Many different systems that need to
Many systems.
come crumbling down. Now, Kristin, if you could smoke with any person, dead or alive,
Shit.
okay, who would it be?
Ooh. That's a tough one. That's a good question. Gosh, that's a really good question. Dead or alive?
So I think smoking
I
with
still,
Jimi,
you
I
know
think
what? I
smoking
want
with
to smoke
Jimi
with.
Hendrix would be one of the coolest things. So I'll give you a second to think. I
I
think,
want to. I want to smoke with Snoop Dogg.
hey, there you go.
He's alive, but I want to smoke with him.
There you go.
He's
Awesome.
cool.
He's like the guy, right?
He is the guy.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great way to wrap it up, Kristin, is
right.
smoking with Snoop Dogg. That would be pretty dope. I'm not sure the next time he's coming to Florida, but maybe he needs to come
Right.
one of these festivals, and Dro TV will get him in on an interview, and we'll
He should.
hotbox somewhere, and we could only be so lucky. But
Exactly.
yeah. Well, Kristin, it was a pleasure talking with you and having you come on Dro TV. Thank you much. Let everybody know the best place they can follow you.
You can find me on Instagram at Good Vibes Always Kristin, and follow me there.
Awesome. And if you like content like this, make sure you go down and like this episode, share it with a friend, and make sure you subscribe to Dro TV so that you don't miss great guests like this one and interviews with Kristin. What you smoking on, Kristin? What do you got in there?
I have a little ratio right now, but I have my little lunar pod here. Lunar
Okay.
pod.
Cool.
Lunar pod. It's so cute.
Awesome.
I got this at the Cannabis in Mount Dora.
Sweet. Cool. Well, thanks again for coming on the show. That's it for today's episode. And thank you for everybody tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one. As always, smoke them if you got them. What's up, Dro TV family? You can now stream the audio version of all these episodes on your favorite podcast player. And if you like more episodes like this, check out this playlist we put together over here for you. And if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube. You don't want to miss more great content from Dro TV. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, smoke them if you got them.